A rich cowboy's mother disguised herself as a poor old woman just to discover who truly had a kind heart in a town blinded by money. One girl offered her water, respect, and help without knowing the shocking truth. But what happened when the richest man in Arizona suddenly arrived? Did kindness really change her destiny forever? Watch the full story till the end and follow our page for more emotional stories like this. In the hot lands of Arizona, there lived a rich man named Silas who owned a big ranch with many cows and horses. His son Caleb was strong, honest, and worked very hard every day. But deep inside, Caleb felt lonely and sad. Every time a woman came near him, she looked only at his fine clothes, his big ranch, and his money. No one seemed to see the real man behind all the wealth. Caleb had tried to find true love many times, but every time he felt disappointed and hurt. One quiet evening he sat alone on the wooden porch of the big ranch house. The sky was turning orange and purple. He looked at the stars and whispered to himself, "I have everything a man can want, but I have no one who loves me for who I am. I will never marry a woman who only wants my land and gold. I would rather live alone all my life than share my days with a lying heart." Tears came to his eyes, but he quickly wiped them away. Inside the house, his mother, Martha, watched him from the window. She was a wise woman with kind eyes. Her heart broke seeing her son so sad and alone. She knew he needed a girl who would love his heart, not his money. That night, Martha could not sleep. She walked around the house thinking and praying. By morning, she had made a brave plan. She would go to the town of Bitter Creek herself and test the women there. She would find out who had a truly kind heart. Early the next day, Martha took off all her fine dresses and expensive jewelry. She wore old, torn clothes and rubbed ash on her hands and face until she looked like a poor, tired old woman. Then she filled a large, heavy sack with smooth stones from the river. The sack was very heavy, but she carried it with determination. "This will be my test," she said softly. "I will see who shows kindness to a poor old woman who has nothing." She left a note for Caleb and started walking toward Bitter Creek. The sun was hot, and dust rose with every step, but her heart was strong with love for her son. After many hours, she reached the small, dusty town. First, she went to the biggest and fanciest shop called High Desert Emporium. The owner was a beautiful woman named Belle. She wore fine clothes and had a proud look on her face. Martha walked inside slowly, breathing hard from the heavy sack. "Good morning, ma'am," she said in a weak voice. "Could you please help an old woman? I need just one small black button, and a little water if you have. The road was very long and hot." Belle looked at Martha from head to toe with cold eyes. She saw the torn clothes and dirty hands, and her face filled with disgust. "We do not serve beggars here," Belle said sharply. "This shop is for fine people only. Go away before you make everything dirty." Martha pointed to a small black button on the counter. "Just this one, please. I can pay a little." Belle laughed in a mean way. "Pay with what? Stones from your dirty sack?" Martha's hands slipped, and the heavy sack fell to the floor with a loud sound. Some stones rolled out. Belle stepped back angrily and shouted, "Get that filthy thing out of my shop! I will call the sheriff if you don't leave now." She did not give water. She did not help pick up the stones. She only pointed to the door with an angry finger. Martha quietly picked up the stones one by one, put the sack on her shoulder again, and walked out with a heavy heart. She continued down the street until she saw a small, simple shop at the end. The sign said, "Miller Dry Goods." Inside, a young woman named Ada was arranging buttons on the wooden counter. Ada had light freckles on her face and a small scar on her cheek, but her eyes were bright and full of warmth. When Ada saw the tired old woman carrying the heavy sack, she immediately ran from behind the counter. "Oh, please come in, ma'am. You look so tired. Let me help you with that heavy bag." Ada gently took the sack from Martha's shoulder and carried it to a corner. Then she brought a wooden chair and said kindly, "Please sit down. Let me get you some cool water." She quickly brought a clean glass of cold water and gave it to Martha with both hands. "Drink slowly," she said with a soft smile. "The day is very hot." Martha drank the water. It tasted sweet because of the kindness. Her eyes became moist. "Thank you, child," Martha said. "You have a very good heart." Ada shook her head gently. Anyone would do the same. Martha decided to test her. She asked to see many different black buttons and took a long time choosing. She said she had very little money and must be careful. She even dropped some buttons on purpose. But Ada never got angry or impatient. She picked up every button with care and explained each one softly and kindly. "Buttons may be small," Ada said with a gentle smile, "but they hold a person's clothes together. So even a small button has value because it belongs to someone." Martha's heart filled with warmth. This girl respected every person, whether rich or poor. After some time, Martha chose one simple black button. When she said she needed to reach the station, Ada did not even think twice. "Then I will carry your sack for you," she said at once. "It is not far. I can close the shop for a little while." Ada off the heavy sack on her own shoulder and walked with Martha down the dusty street like a caring friend. Suddenly they heard horses and a beautiful buggy coming down the street. People six to look. It was Caleb. Everyone in town knew the rich young man. Ada stopped walking and felt shy. She quickly tried to brush the dust from her simple dress. Caleb stopped the buggy near them. Martha smiled and called out in her real voice, "Caleb!" Caleb turned in shock. "Mother, what are you doing here dressed like this?" Martha explained everything. She told him how Belle had insulted her and refused to help. Then she pointed to Ada and said, "This girl gave me water and respect when I had nothing. She carried my heavy sack without asking anything in return. She was patient and kind even when I tested her." Caleb looked at Ada carefully. He saw her simple clothes, her freckles, the small scar, and her honest, kind eyes. Something inside his chest. For the first time in many years he felt real hope. "You carried this heavy sack for her?" he asked Ada softly. Ada nodded, her cheeks turning red. "She looked very tired. It was not too heavy for me." Caleb took off his hat and stepped closer. His heart was beating fast. "I have met many women," he said, looking into her eyes. "They smiled at me because of my father's land and money, but you helped my mother when she had nothing. You saw only a person who needed kindness." Tears filled Ada's eyes. She had never expected anything like this. "I never wanted rich things," she said in a small, honest voice. "I only wanted someone who would see me as I am, a simple girl with a simple heart. Someone who would not laugh at my freckles or old clothes." Caleb smiled. It was the first true smile he had given in a long time. From his pocket he took out a small box. Inside was a simple but beautiful ring with a bright turquoise stone. "This ring belonged to my grandmother," he said gently. "She always said it brings good luck to true hearts." He went down on one knee right there on the dusty street. People around him stopped and watched in surprise. "Ada," Caleb said, his voice full of feeling, "I do not want a wife who loves my ranch. I want a true partner who will walk with me through good days and hard days. Someone honest and kind. Someone whose heart is bigger than any treasure. Will you marry me?" Ada's hands trembled. Happy tears rolled down her cheeks as she smiled. "Yes," she said softly, then louder with all her heart. "Yes, I will marry you, Caleb. Not for your land or money, but because I see a good and honest man in front of me." Caleb stood up with a big smile. His hands were gentle as he slipped a turquoise ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly, as if it had always belonged there. People around him started clapping. Some even wiped their eyes. Far away at the big shop, Belle heard the news and turned pale with anger and shame. Soon people stopped coming to her shop because of her cold and proud heart. Her business failed and she had to leave town in disgrace. But Ada and Caleb got married in a simple ceremony under the big open sky. They built a small, warm house and lived happily together. They worked side by side and faced every day with love and respect. One evening, many months later, Caleb and Ada stood on their porch with Martha. A strong wind was blowing dust across the land like a golden cloud. Caleb held Ada's hand. The turquoise ring shone on her finger. "Do you hear the wind?" he asked softly. Ada leaned her head on his shoulder and smiled. "It sounds like it is singing a happy song." Martha spoke from her rocking chair with tears in her eyes. "The wind is telling the truth, my children. It blows away the dust and shows what is real. It carries away the proud and false hearts and leaves behind the ones that are kind and true." Caleb looked at his wife with deep love. "You are my true heart," he said. Ada smiled warmly. "And you are mine." The wind blew gently for a moment and then became calm. The dust settled slowly. In the quiet evening, the three of them stood together, a family built not on gold or land, but on kindness, respect, and a love that saw the heart first. Because real love does not look at what a person has. It looks at who a person truly is. Thank you so much for watching this story all the way till the end. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. It really helps us a lot. If you want to watch more exciting stories like this, don't forget to subscribe our page right now. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from and what time is right now? And if this story touched your heart, please send some stars. Every single star gives us huge motivation to keep creating more amazing videos for you. See you in the next story. Take care of you, friends.